Look how long my arms look with this ultra wide angle lens. It's insane, look at that stretch. Oh yeah. What's up everyone? Today we're taking a look at another doormat sized gaming mouse pad. This one's called the Agility GD70 and it's made by MSI, who you probably know for making motherboards and graphics cards and stuff like that. But they also make gaming peripherals. And I picked this one up on Amazon for about 25 US dollars, which actually sounds like a good price, but that's only gonna be true if the quality and the performance are there. So let's check it out. So like I said, this thing's big. It's around 900 millimeters from end to end and around 400 millimeters wide. And it does vary a little bit in the corners from just over 400 millimeters to just under at the tapered section in the middle. And the thickness is around 3 millimeters. Losing that small strip in the middle is unlikely to really be a problem because it's such a small area that I think you're really unlikely to run into it or to make contact with it with your mouse while you're gaming. That was my experience with it anyway, and I'm sure most people will kind of be the same way. So the good thing about it though is that it gives it a little bit more aesthetic flair, if you will, if that makes any sense. It just stands out a little bit more than a typical rectangular mouse pad would. Now obviously the way things look really comes down to personal preference, but for me, I actually like it. I think it looks pretty cool. In the upper right corner, there's a small, subtle MSI crest logo, and I think that looks pretty good. It's a good way to implement their name into the product, but without being over the top. But if you turn your attention down to the left side over here, there's a massive dragon printed on it. Personally, I think it's a little much for my taste. I would have preferred it to be a lot smaller, or honestly, maybe not even there at all. If mouse pads are gonna have graphics printed all over them, I'd prefer it to just be some kind of design, maybe with some color or something like that, and not necessarily a gigantic company logo. And in this particular case, that gigantic logo happens to be a dragon. So basically, you gotta like dragons to wanna use this mouse pad. It's just the way it is. The quality feels pretty good. The bottom's covered with a nice rubber anti-slip surface to help keep everything stuck to your desk. The only thing that I noticed though is that it's not quite as grippy as some other mouse pads that I've tested recently. I can physically just kind of move it around with my hand a little bit, even if I'm not pressing that hard. But the good news is that doesn't seem to be an issue when you're gaming. Moving your mouse around, typing with your keyboard, this thing's not moving on you, so that's what really matters. There's stitching all the way around the outside edges, which is great. It helps prevent fraying and surface peeling. And these edges don't really feel like they stick up all that much, so you don't notice it when you're moving your arm across the surface. And that's a good thing, because you don't want that rough cheese grater effect going on your arm while you're trying to game. Being just 3 millimeters thick, it's not as cushiony as some of the thicker pads that are out there on the market, but it kind of makes up for that with a very smooth surface material that feels really soft to the touch. Overall, it actually ends up being a pretty comfortable surface. For testing, I use the mouse pad for everything that I do on my computer, from basic web browsing to video production and obviously gaming. My Razer Viper Ultimate felt really good on this pad. The smooth, silky surface feels really slick and it produces like the perfect amount of drag in my opinion. And there were no issues at all with sensor tracking and performance, but you know, that's not really a surprise and not entirely just because of the mouse pad. The quality of the sensor in the Viper Ultimate deserves some of the credit here too. Still though, overall, this is a really good gaming surface that I can use for accurate first-person shooter games. It didn't take me that long to get used to it and I felt like my gameplay was spot on. The GD70 from MSI is a good quality gaming surface, and it feels just as premium as some of those ultra popular mouse pads that are out there from the really big name manufacturers. As far as the quality and performance go, I think it's great. The only real downside for me is that aggressive branding, but hey, if you happen to really like dragons, then I guess there are no downsides. Now MSI makes a few different models and sizes of these things, so if you're not into the doormat style that I have here, go ahead and check out some of those other ones. There's some more smaller and more reasonable sized ones out there if that's what you want to do or if that's what you want to get. Now, this big one that I have here, I paid around 25 US dollars for on Amazon, but I have noticed that the prices seem to fluctuate for some reason. So if you're looking for this one and it seems kind of highly priced, I would say just keep an eye on it and look out for deals. I'm gonna have the purchasing links down in the description of this video, so make sure you check those out and leave a comment down below and let everybody know what you think of the MSI GD70 and if you think it's a worthy contender in the crazy saturated market of gaming mouse pads that we have today in 2021. And make sure you get subscribed and ring the little notification bell so that you get notified so you don't miss any upcoming content. And we'll see you.